President Vladimir Putin says his ties with Chinese President Xi Jinping are at an unprecedented level as the two leaders met in Beijing ahead of a massive military parade. Mr. Putin described Mr. Xi as a dear friend, with Chinese state media calling their relationship exemplary. Russia will increase gas supplies to China, while China begins a year-long visa-free travel trial for Russians. The Chinese president is preparing to welcome North Korea's Kim Jong-un in a display of solidarity among the three countries amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. The parade, set for Wednesday, marks the 80th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II. Russia and North Korea both depend on China economically, and these meetings highlight Xi's growing power and influence, especially as former U.S. President Donald Trump seeks talks with Putin to end the Ukraine conflict. All three leaders are expected to stand together as tens of thousands of troops march through Beijing. Now, for more on this unprecedented Russia-China ties, Executive Chairman, 16th Council UK, Dr. Brian Rubin, joins me on the news from the United Kingdom. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
So China and Russia have presented their vision of a new international order, and that's at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Are we witnessing in real time the creation of a parallel global governance system that would rival the US and Europe?
Thank you, Precious. What we are witnessing today is not really the fall of America, but it is the end of America's monopoly. The global stage is no longer a two-player drama of Washington and maybe China. It's becoming a multipolar world. And now, alongside the United States, we now see China, the EU, India, Russia, and even powerful technology companies shaping the rules of global politics and economics. So this is not, it's not just about the rise of China. It is a multipolar world. And we also going to see that this will not translate to a post-dollar world, like many people talk about sometimes in terms of economics and global trade, because again, the dollar anchors trust and trade. But it's very, very much a post-American world where there is no single power that can dominate unchallenged. That's what's going on.
But it would also seem, and I know you mentioned trade, it will also seem like a new trade coalition is also being created. Let's talk about the SCO particularly. It was largely symbolic since it was founded in 2001. But we're now hearing President Xi saying or calling for the creation of a new SCO development bank. And he announced $280 million US dollars in grants. I mean, that's a significant pivot into international finance, isn't it? And how symbolic is that?
Oh, of course. All of that is about the multipolarity. It's about a post-America world where there are multi-power players. But what I'm saying is that America will continue to remain strong, continue to remain a world leader. But we see all of this rise, from China to the EU to and all of that, all the BRICS movement, leading us to a multipolar world and all of the institutions in an attempt to weaken America. And that will significantly have an effect on how America is seen in a global stage. It's no longer a time when Washington will have the final say, right? So that's what's going on. But in terms of it being the end of American dominance, that's going to be far from it. To dismantle the framework and the institutions and systems that have been built through the years, it's not going to be a one-day job, right? So that's exactly what is going on.
But wouldn't that be because of the tenured presidential system in America? For example, Trump is going to leave office and then you have a new president coming. But his America First policy doesn't seem to have done well for the U.S. in terms of its perception around the world. We're now hearing China and Russia pushing for multilateralism. They're also now being seen as the poster boys for diplomatic unity. I mean, you would agree that that would have been inconceivable years ago, and maybe your optimism, in quote, might be too optimistic.
Yeah, so while there are many issues where the Democrats and the Republicans in America disagree, there are still areas where they agree. For example, both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party wants America to continue to dominate. I mean, their position on China is mostly the same, whether it was during the Biden era or now the now Trump era. Their approaches could be a little different, but you see their effort to counter the rise of China. So it's likely being the same thing. And so irrespective of the change in government, the policies could be, the approach could be different, but primarily America is interested in defending its global status as a power broker. However, with the changes, technology and formation of new alignments, we now see this situation where, like I mentioned, it's not just nations, also global tech leaders, tech companies, taking role in shaping global politics, international trade, and economies.
Some would argue that America's hegemony has been on the decline for some years now. You were sure of America's continued dominance on the global stage. But how much of a diplomatic black eye is this for the U.S.?
Well, yes, American dominance has been on the decline for many years. And that's given to a number of factors. From their immigration policies, to foreign policies, to a number of factors has come together, and also the rise of technology and all of that. However, it's going to take a very long time before American power can be completely, if ever, diluted.
And how much do you also see in this coalition, if we call it that now, because we've seen the entrance of India, which is very historic and revolutionary for this coalition, as it were. How much do you think they can achieve together? And what is India's place exactly? Is it a shift in alliance?
Oh, well, how this started unfolding with Trump slamming tariff on India because India continued to buy Russian oil, and India refusing to back surprisingly. And India has a very large market, plays a very important role in global geopolitics. So it is going to have a significant effect, especially in the global south. The alliance of India, China, Russia it could lead to very serious consequences. However, we can also note that it's not new. It's been on. India has been a part of BRICS. BRIC has been strategically looking for how to deal with a number of issues, including replacing the US dollar, and floating a new currency. So yes, it will have an effect. But what we see, as I mentioned earlier, is a post-American world where there are multipolar, right? And it has its consequences, good and bad. But with time, we'll see how much that turns out in global politics.
Again, I agree with you. With time, we'll see how much it turns out. We are all watching. Thank you so much for your time. Chairman, 16th Council, UK, Dr. Brian Reuben. A pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.